first podcast recording of 2026. The flying cars have come and gone. It was a short-lived experience. We're back down to before 2015 days.
Yeah, on the ground.
On the ground.
The future just
ain't what it used to be.
Oh well, what are you gonna do?
They should have cars that burrow under the ground. That should be the next step. Like you can't do flying cars. Just go under the ground instead. You could probably cut through more quickly to get to certain places if you go underground. Similar to how if you fly over, right? You just go take a linear path. But underground, you could do the same, assuming you can avoid important structural elements of the city. I guess that's what tunnels are.
You think you could avoid more structural elements of the city randomly burrowing under the ground than through the sky?
No, that's why you'd have to burrow really far down, and then you can use that area. If you go up into the sky, if you don't go high enough, you'll hit buildings, right? So in the same way, if you don't go low enough under the ground, you'll hit...
It's much easier to see a building in the sky than it is to see pipes and electrical
Depends
work
on the weather.
Tunnels and...
But yeah, you're right. It's not a good idea. Let's leave that idea back in 2025.
There's not too many airplanes that are mistakenly running into buildings.
Well, there's quite a few, actually.
There's not that many.
It's a common occurrence, I think. It's just people don't talk about it often.
Well, why don't we dive right into words of the year? Because we got a lot to cover.
And you accrued them all?
We're all ready to go. We got 5 sites, bunch of words of the year, bunch of short lists. We got lots of words we can discuss and ideas to ponder today.
And instill in ourselves to use in 2026. I know I'm going to be using as many of them as I can. I'm going to be very demure about it.
Some of these you will definitely use and have used.
Oh,
so
yeah? 6-7.
You know what? It, let's start with it. Dictionary.com's word of the year is 6-7.
Wow, that's amazing. To have such prolific status as to appear on Dictionary.com. Did you know, by the way, Dictionary.com, there was some famous dictionary that actually put a fake word in their print dictionary? And this was a way for them to catch plagiarism of people of other websites or other, these small time operations taking their words and definitions and just copying them outright onto their website. I think Dictionary.com was one of the culprits. But I don't want to be liable or whatever, so I don't want to say anything. But I feel like one of those, maybe Dictionary.com. But still, I trust their plagiarist views.
I mean, a lot of people use Dictionary.com, so...
It's the easiest one to type in, probably. It's the one that most people gravitate towards. It's not branded by anything. We for what it's worth, normally we use Merriam-Webster, because I figured that's probably the American one to use. We got to appeal to the world, which is America.
Well, here we go. What does 6-7 mean? It's a viral, ambiguous slang term that's waffled its way through the Generation Alpha social media and school hallways.
And me.
And Raji, yeah. It's largely nonsensical. Some argue it means so-so, or maybe this, maybe that, especially when paired with a hand gesture where both palms face up and move alternatively up and down.
No, hold on a second. The hand gesture has nothing to do with weighing one or the other. It's about cupping either balls or breasts, depending on your persuasion for that moment of the day. So I'm sticking with that. When I'm doing that, I'm lifting something. It's not about balancing choices. There's no metaphor there.
Comes from the song Doot Doot by Skrilla.
I got to listen to that. I still haven't listened to that song.
There you go. But that is their word of the year because it reflects social trends and global events that define the year.
How did they write it? Did they put a dash?
Usage.
Did they put a hyphen between 6 and 7?
No. When they spell it out, they do. But when it's just the number, it's just 6-7.
Right. Okay. So they do just put 6-7 as 67. Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. First number we've seen, I think, or maybe ever.
That's right. Apparently this had a little bit of controversy online because it isn't really a word.
Neither is brain rot.
That might be true. In October, its usage increased about 6.5 times over its usage in 2024.
Oh man, we should have bet on that. Oh, can you bet on words, you think? On usage of words? We got to that has to be a thing. I would bet on things so quickly. That would be my life savings down the drain.
There you go. But it's, yeah, I don't know. You can look into it.
That'll be my New Year's resolution for 2026. Gamble on words, usage of words.
Some of their short list included agentic,
Agentic. Oh, like AI. Yeah.
to describe human agency or the capital to act independently, make choices, shape one's environment. That's how it was traditionally used. However, it is now related to AI, so-called agentic AI, blurring the boundary between human and machine initiative, reflecting society's growing fascination. There's going to be a lot of, just like last year, going to be a lot of
Jargon.
AI-related terminology. Yeah.
A lot of these words will be common terms or had been common terms, but now have been repurposed for AI. So agentic is one of them. I guess it was a word, as you said before. I'd never heard of it, but I'm sure others have. But yeah, I've seen it plenty of times. In programming, it's very common because you'll have like people will have like a little companion, their agentic AI that'll be like an agent that does things for them, the menial tasks, or kind of helps them do their procedures, write the code partially, and then they'll fill in the rest and so on.
Well, you see a lot more of that in the coming year and beyond. Aura farming is also on their short list.
Is that one word or two?
That's 2 words.
It's lots of phrases. That's really bothers me. That
a lot of these dictionaries. Well, a lot of these dictionaries have moved on to phrases nowadays. Aura, in the modern sense, of charisma, style, or personal energy, with farming meaning cultivation or deliberate effort. So there you go. You get 2 words out of it, anyways. The practice of intentionally developing one's presence or vibe.
Mm-hmm. Do you do that, Dustin? Do you aura farm?
I think in a way, I think every streamer aura farms by nature of the.
But in real life, I mean,
of the role,
like just
No,
day
I
to
can't say I
day.
do.
Do you go around strutting around and like waving a gun, that type of thing?
No, I can't say that I do.
What about at work?
I can't say I wave a gun at work. No.
You wave a rosary.
Nope, I don't wave anything. Apparently it says this crystallized around the viral boat kid meme. Did you ever see that meme?
No. What is the boat kid?
It was like a rowing, the rowing competitions where you get the one guy at the front and they're setting the pace or whatever. In the video, the kid was like bobbing up and down. He was like dancing to like set the pace. It was some Indonesian thing.
Okay.
It was a funny video, but for some reason they attribute it to that. I think aura farming was around before and since that.
When was that viral video? What year?
It wasn't that long ago, a few months ago, maybe September or October.
I'd never heard the term aura farming until this year, or I guess 2025.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like I've heard it since before then, but maybe not.
Maybe you run in more learned circles. Learned circles, that's right. You roll with the cool kids, the farmers.
Another one is broligarchy, a blend of bro and oligarchy. It refers to business, tech and business leaders often associated with the bro archetype, and this comes around in large part from the new U.S. administration in January, where some of his people are very unqualified but very bro types.
Let's describe for the listeners what a bro is.
Just, frat boy kind of thing. But it's to capture the public frustration with the concentration of power among a small, culturally homogenous elite. Clanker is another one.
Whoa, now. Are you sure you can say that?
Going back to AI.
I love how probably in like 100 years, so like Mark Twain's books are kind of, they're iffy. They're iffy for people to read nowadays. I bet this podcast episode will be iffy for people to listen to in 100 years.
Yeah, maybe. So Clanker originally describing, rundown robots or cars or, that kind of stuff. Now it's used to, in the same way, to deride AI systems, chatbots, and other non-human technologies, and again reflects the growing unease of AI in society. A moment of cultural reckoning as fascination with intelligent machines collides with deep-seated fear and resentment towards them. So there you go. If you're afraid of AI, call it a clanker.
No, but one of my favorite examples that I've seen many times on the TikToks and the YouTube shorts and so on is somebody's daughter bringing home a robot partner, and the father goes, "My daughter ain't not gonna date no clanker."
What was that from? It's just a random thing?
Just random thing on TikTok and shorts. Yeah. Yeah, you know how like I've seen clanker so many times on TikTok where, well, not anymore. I guess it was just a fad at some point. But yeah, quite a few videos had it where it's like they would just use the term, you know, in the same way that the N word would be used back in the 50s or whatever it would have been.
I can't say I've ever seen that, but I didn't see a rise in clanker this year.
Again, it's not happening anymore, so it must have died down.
Over tourism is another one. That was a big theme in some areas this year. Overwhelming influx of visitors to popular destinations leading to environmental strain, cultural disruption, and local frustration.
It's hilarious to see people complaining about over tourism in places that rely on tourism.
Yeah, well, there was that one place that, where was it, in Spain or something?
Yeah.
Spain or something like that?
Spain had this issue where
they were
it's
like, yeah, no more tourists.
Yeah. Good for you.
Now
Good
everything's
for
just
you,
crumbled
Spain.
out there.
It's like, what the hell do you want? This is what you subsist on tourism, and now you're bitching about it.
Yep. Also in the news about that, Venice introduced a new tourist tax this year. Japan limited access to Mount Fuji.
I feel like Mount Fuji, limiting access is one thing. I can imagine certain places, more like sacred places, you would want to make sure are protected. So yes, if you're getting a lot more tourists for whatever reason, first of all, it's good that you're getting more tourists, but yeah, you got to make sure that things, even like trails, hiking trails, you always got to watch out for that, because even in places that aren't the most popular, you're going to get, if you get more foot traffic there, it's going to start deteriorating. So those things have to happen. Venice, I don't know what their deal is with the tourist tax. I guess they need the extra money to repair certain things, but it's sinking. So one of the other problems with over-tourism in Venice is that it's just sinking faster with the more people there. It's going to be underwater if too many people visit.
Yep,
fair enough. Atlantis.
Fair enough. And viral clips of visitors behaving badly.
They always behave badly, you know that, right? Like, it's just because now they're being publicized more. But I feel like the badness was always there.
Oh yeah, you always get people that are going to go overseas and disrespect other cultures and buildings and all that kind of stuff. Tariffs was another one. Of course, that's been a huge focal point of this year, thanks to the new United States administration. What's the actual, I guess just tax, right?
Yeah, it's a tax between countries, I think.
Schedule or system of duties imposed, any duty or rate of duty.
I like how schedule, I mean, what does schedule mean in this context? Because whenever I think of schedule, I think of a timetable, but it's never used that way in taxation.
Yeah, it kind of is, though. A schedule can refer to literally like a table.
So not a timetable, though.
No.
So I should be saying time schedule then.
Just a table, like a rows and columns.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But so we should be saying time schedule. We can't just say schedule. We should clarify that it's the time schedule.
That's right. But I think there's room for colloquialism in the English language.
Fair enough. But is the definition, is the actual definition of schedule then the non-colloquial one? Is that just a table of rows and columns?
No, it's pretty far down. Actually, well, number 2 is a series of things to be done or events to occur. Written or printed statement of details is number 4.
So it's probably that one.
Yeah, often in classified or tabular form.
Uh-huh. So it's a horrible word. It's used for pretty much everything.
Yeah, it's got a lot of words, or it's got a lot of definitions. And tradwife. Tradwife seems to come up every once in a while. Just short form of traditional wife, which is just, tied to more old school.
The 50s.
Even earlier than the 50s.
Well,
though.
yeah, but like if you think back to like Happy Days, you kind of think of that sort of homestead.
Yeah, sits in the kitchen, raises the stay-at-home wife, raises the family, serves the husband, is pretty much tradwife. Wears a dress. That's making a resurgence for one reason or another, especially among the TikTok communities. I've seen a lot of videos on weird tradwife stuff.
But see, it depends on what your algorithm is saying about you.
That's true.
But I haven't seen a single one of those. I know about it.
Wants me to be a tradwife.
Well, yeah. Or get yourself a tradwife, I guess.
But also, it also has to do with outdated gender roles. So a lot of that also is kind of resurfacing as kind of the right makes a bigger a bigger push into mainstream society this year. Strict lines are being spoken about and imposed and all that throughout the society. So it's another reason it's come up. And again, just the clash between the old days and the new days.
It's all cyclical. People are going to get sick of this, and then they're going to go back to the new age stuff where anything goes. And they're going to get sick of that. They're going to go back to the traditional stuff. And it's just going to keep flip-flopping back and forth, because humans are fickle. They don't know what they want, and they get bored because they have no discipline.
That's right. There you go. That's dictionary.com. You said you use Merriam-Webster?
Yeah, Merriam-Webster is the one we usually use for Word of the Fortnight.
Let's jump into Merriam-Webster's Word of the Year. Merriam-Webster has chosen slop.
Oh, I love that word. Remember we talked about queef? And how like certain words sound unpleasant or, well, like subjectively unpleasant? Yeah, I find, or not just unpleasant, but like they sound visceral in some way. Like you can kind of feel them. And whenever I hear the word slop, I feel it. Do you ever feel it?
Yeah, slop's a good word.
You know, it's like you smack something down on the table that's kind of juicy, you know, like you have a steak that's raw and you smack it down on the table. That's what I feel like when I think of the word slop.
Merriam-Webster defines slop as digital content of a low quality that is produced usually in quantity by means of AI.
No need to add the AI slop prefix. People know what slop is when slop is said.
That is true. The flood of slop in 2025 include absurd videos, off-kilter advertising images, cheesy propaganda, fake news that looks pretty real, junky AI-written books, work slop reports that waste coworkers' time, and lots of talking cats. You know what? Oh, it's funny because that's kind of what started popping up on my TikTok thing, are these AI cats that are doing various jobs and they freak out on people and they freak out on other cats. And I don't know. I guess as slop as it is, but I laughed pretty hard at quite a few of them.
You know, it's sad though that these AI cat videos, the ones where they're yelling at people and like making a scene, they're taking away from the legitimate cat actors out there who are playing their role of making a scene and yelling at coworkers and other cats. I don't know. It feels frustrating to me to see that happen. Those poor cats out on the street.
Still lots of real cats on my feed. So
all right, well, time will tell whether you'll be able to tell the difference at some point.
And to your point about the feeling of the word, like slime, sludge, and muck, slop has the wet sound of something you don't want to touch.
Wow, that's subjective.
Oozes into everything. The original sense of the word in the 1700s was soft mud. In the 1800s, it came to mean food waste, as in pig slop, and then more generally rubbish or a product of little or no value. Some of their short list includes gerrymander, which is to divide a state, school district, etc., into political units or electoral districts that give one group or political party an unfair advantage. That, of course, comes around again, thanks to the United States and their push to gerrymander and the counter gerrymandering efforts that have arisen from that throughout the year. Touch grass, which means to participate in normal activities in the real world, especially as opposed to online experiences and interactions. Every streamer could probably use a little bit more touch grass time. Though originally used as an insult, touch grass also became something of an aspiration, even a physical quest for many people who wanted to break their digital addiction. Performative. Made or done for show, as to bolster one's own image or make a positive impression on others. So I guess this kind of goes back to dictionary.com's a little bit, aura farming. You got to be a little performative if you're going to aura farm, but also it relates to, of course, politics and activism, wokeness and patriotism. What is this one? Performative matcha, in which the photogenic green tea was prepared and consumed to impress a usually online audience. I don't know even what that means. Did you see any performative?
Was that a separate phrase or just an example of performative?
Sounds like it's referencing something.
Because I know when people prepare matcha, it could be some sort of artistic endeavor, but you can say that about a lot of other things too, like preparing a latte.
Must have been some viral something or other that they picked up on. Performative male is among the top phrases that it was used used to describe a young man pursuing progressive women by doing things. Carrying feminist literature in a tote bag, for example, those women probably like. They also had tariff. They also had 6-7.
Well, that's good. I'm glad it made the list on a reputable dictionary as well.
There you go. Yeah. And conclave, due to the Pope elections this year.
So wait, what is the conclave? Is that a gathering of the popes? Of popes to be?
Yeah, it's a gathering of the Roman Catholic cardinals,
right,
to elect a successor. Word conclave comes from Latin conclave, meaning room that can be locked up.
Oh, so they locked them all up in there.
They do lock them up in there, and they're not allowed to leave until they've elected a new pope.
It's like in The Simpsons where Skinner and Krabappel are locked up in a room while they're on strike, while the teachers are on strike, and they come out and they say, well, here, we figured it out. We're going to turn the school into a prison as well.
Even before Pope Francis's death, there was already an uptick in searches for the word due to a movie that came out earlier this year called Conclave. That was a fictional telling of the events of the secret vote.
It's nice to know that people look up these words.
Okay, here's one kind of outside the box. Oh, all right. Lake. I don't know how I'm going to do this. Chargo, Gago, Gogman, Chow, Gago, Chow, Buna, Gunga, Maug.
Can you spell that, please?
I think it's actually just Chow, Buna, Gunga, Maug. And the reason this has popped up, it's also known as Webster Lake.
Oh, that's much easier to say.
It's a lake in the town of Webster, Massachusetts. And the reason it has popped up is because in a hit Roblox game, I've actually seen some videos of this, the lake's name can be encountered in some of the more difficult modes.
So the lake is sentient? It's an enemy you fight?
It's a, did I say what game it was called? A hit Roblox game, Spelling Bee.
Oh, okay. So it's a mini game in Roblox, or I guess a mode built into Roblox.
Oh, it does have a much longer name. It's spelled CHARGOGGA GOGGMANCHAUGGAG OGGCHAUBUNAGUNGAMAUGG.
You lost me at the first G.
Has 45 letters, 14 syllables. It's the longest name of any geographic feature in all of the United States.
That's going to be contested when people play Scrabble from now on.
Yeah, there you go. I don't think you can have that many.
I don't think it would fit.
I don't think that's
exactly.
an issue. I don't think that's an issue. I guess it's from the Algonquin language, and it means fishing place at the boundaries, neutral meeting grounds.
I feel like what you just said is shorter than the one word that they gave it.
Yep. Yep. I guess that was a big search on their website.
So just Roblox. All praise Roblox.
Roblox is pretty influential. Roblox is probably maybe not as influential as Fortnite, but pretty close. They just don't do a lot of the
maybe I have to
crossover stuff.
Fit in Roblox in my playtime.
It's time to start doing Roblox.
But see, the gameplay just doesn't appeal to me. There's no shooting in that game, right?
No, I think there's probably mini games with it.
Yeah, but it's not going to be as tight or as unpredictable.
Okay, that was it for Merriam-Webster. Let's head over to Oxford. Oxford's 2025 word of the year is rage bait. 2 words.
That's a good one, yeah.
Online content deliberately designed to elicit anger or outrage by being frustrating, provocative, or offensive, typically posted in order to increase traffic or engagement with a particular web page or social media account.
So you get caught by this quite a bit.
Yep, quite a bit. And they got a graph showing the increase in rage bait, and it has definitely increased many, many, many times since 2024.
It's amazing because it's the same principle that tabloids use. So you'll be shopping and you'll see these tabloid magazines with provocative headlines to either bait you into buying it and seeing what's up, or just to piss you off a little bit, saying like, "What? That's completely ridiculous. I can't believe that they would say something like that." And then go home and just ponder that even for a little bit. And then at the same time, how news operates, where it's always just bad news, because that gets people riled up or gets people sad, depressed. They'll do something to alleviate that, and just that's what it is. Happy news doesn't make the cut.
Doesn't do numbers, and that's what everybody wants. For that, you need rage bait or its cousin, clickbait. Anyways, Oxford, going back to a question that, I think you mentioned earlier, or a thing that you said earlier, isn't rage bait 2 words? We're not rage baiting you by choosing 2 words, though that would be in keeping with the meaning of the term. The Oxford word of the year, and I imagine other ones also would align with this, can be a singular word or expression which our lexicographers think of as a single unit of meaning. So these dictionary websites, as long as they convey a single unit of meaning, they consider them one word.
We've had that a few times on the podcast where the word of the fortnight was actually a phrase. Or the word, I finagled it so that it was just the word, but the reason I chose that word is because it was part of a bigger phrase, and really the definition was the phrase itself. So I get it. I shouldn't say anything. They've quenched the fire I had behind my opinion.
And that's with 2025's news cycle dominated by social unrest, debates about the regulation of online content, and concerns over digital well-being. Our experts noticed that the use of rage bait this year has evolved to signal a deeper shift in how we talk about attention, both how it is given and how it is sought after, engagement, and ethics online. And it has seen an increased 3-fold in usage in the last 12 months. Its use has gone up quite a bit. And what's their short list? They got 3 words on their short list. One is rage bait, so that's interesting.
Wow, they're really pulling the rage bait on us.
Yeah, that one is rage baiting me. Another one is aura farming, which was also on dictionary.com's. And their second one was biohack, to attempt to improve or optimize one's physical or mental performance, health, longevity, or well-being by altering one's diet, exercise routine, or lifestyle, or by using other such means as drugs, supplements, or technological devices.
Look at that. And you're playing Cyberpunk now. How does this fit?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
This year especially, we've had that new miracle weight loss drug, Ozempic.
But is that biohacking?
Yeah. We've also seen one thing that was very popular this year is rich people trying to keep their youth. Like I know there's that one guy who infuses his son's blood, among other things, so that he can try to remain looking like he claims he looks like a 27-year-old or something, but he does look still very much old.
He looks like he's from the uncanny valley.
Yeah.
Like, is liposuction considered biohacking then?
Probably. As a result, we've seen a doubling of usage in the last year, suggesting that while some of the treatments and interventions used by hardcore biohackers are beyond the reach of most of us, we seem to be endlessly fascinated by efforts to cheat ill health, old age, or death itself. All right, that was Oxford. What do we got now? Merriam-Webster Dictionary, Cambridge. The Cambridge Dictionary word of the year 2025 is parasocial. Involving or relating to a connection that someone feels between themselves and a person they do not know, a character in a book, film, TV series, etc., or an artificial intelligence.
So I have a parasocial relationship with Venti then.
Yep, that is true. As social media intensifies the intimacy that fans feel with their adored celebrities and with the rise in popularity of AI companions that can take on personalities, the word for these one-way relationships, parasocial, is having its own moment. And of course, that's a big thing amongst streamers because people can interact with them every day, but it's not a real relationship.
It's a big thing, I think, on TikTok as well, because you get a lot of these people who are, kind of revealing their lives through TikTok, and they seem so close because you can just comment. They'll potentially reply if they're not terribly big. So they have this huge net that they've thrown and got so many people in that net that have potentially started these parasocial relationships. You don't get that with celebrities in Hollywood, right? Or you didn't used to get that. Nowadays, even now, you wouldn't get it because they're in their ivory towers, these celebrities. But the TikTok people,
it's easier to have a fake relationship with an influencer than it is with a celebrity.
Absolutely.
So a lot more people are bamboozled by that. And of course, AI. A lot of people now are relying on AI for companionship. There was a big thing in the summer when ChatGPT came out with their newest version. It was much more robotic and to the point. And I remember seeing quite a few things online of, people having meltdowns, and because it wasn't, responding like a human anymore. Inevitably, they ended up rolling it back or adding the old version back, or however they ended up doing it, because people also attach themselves to this AI. They'll talk to them, like a friend or, maybe more, and develop this relationship that's not real. And it's much more prevalent in AI now. There's websites that will pretend that they're a person or a character or something like that you can talk to, again, using AI. So that's, one of the dangers. One of the dangers of AI. I've seen futurology doomsayers saying when they eventually make sex robots backed by a good AI, humanity will crumble because there won't be any need to meet real women. I imagine it's much more prevalent with men than it is with women. So that's parasocial. That is Cambridge's word. For their short list, just 2 other words. Pseudonymization. A process in which information that relates to a particular person, for example, a name or email address, is changed to a number or name that has no meaning so that it is impossible to see who the information relates to.
So it's like anonymization, but pseudo-anonymization?
Yeah. Spiked in lookups on the Cambridge Dictionary in May, it's a term that is central to discussions about how to protect personal data in a world where this information needs to be useful but not personally identifiable, especially in 2025 as ethical training of AI models has featured frequently in the news. So it relates to training of AI models, but also probably all that, how those countries are doing the got to take a picture of your ID or whatever to make sure you're not a kid. So ways to protect that information also, since so many different websites are doing that now.
To make sure you're not a kid?
Yeah, who's doing that? UK is doing it, and Australia is doing it. You have to take a picture of your ID for like YouTube and Twitch and Reddit and all the social media right now. And their second word is memeify. To turn an event, image, person, etc. into a meme. Capture playful, viral creativity of internet culture, highlights how memes in the tradition of satire are a mode of both entertainment and communication, blurring the lines between joke and journalism to reframe politics, identity, crises, and culture. And neither of these words represented anything specific. And the last one is Collins. Vibe coding is their word of the year. An emerging software development that turns natural language into computer code using AI.
Yeah, I'm aware of this one. It's basically where you, as a software developer, do no actual software development. You just type in what you want. The AI gives it to you. You keep telling it like, I want this thing to be a different color. I want this border to be thicker. I want this to be a different texture. I want this to be a higher quality model, stuff like that. It's like you got a little henchman or an assistant, and you're sitting back and you're telling him what to do. But you're incompetent yourself. You're one of those managers who has no idea what they're actually supposed to be doing. It also leads to horrible code because let's suppose somebody hires a vibe coder. They spit out like this really complicated program. God forbid there's a bug. They don't know how to get to it. The AI is not going to get to it because it doesn't know how it got to it in the first place. And if you hire somebody who's completely external to the project, they're going to charge a hell of a lot of money to fix it because it's probably horrendously written since it's all done by AI and not in a way that's structurally sound.
I see. One of the dangers of AI in the workplace going to lead to that big bubble pop.
Well, it's a danger only
and
for
all the developers get.
It's a danger because a lot of the people who aren't developers are suddenly thinking like, oh man, yeah, I can do this.
Well, I think it's going to lead to workplaces being like, oh, we don't need all these developers. We'll just get one guy to vibe code, and if anything goes wrong, we'll hire somebody on Fiverr.
Yeah, it depends on the workplace. Some are more mature and well-versed than others. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of those.
Their short list was aura farming, biohacking. It's just a mishmash of everything else. Broligarchy, clanker, and we'll just do a couple here that's...
Oh, they had a long list then if you have...
Yeah, they have a very long list.
How's that a short list then?
It's their long short list. Coolcation is one of their words. A holiday in a place with a cool climate. They don't really back up their short lists, but I assume this has to do with global warming, right? Everything getting hotter, so wanting to go somewhere cool versus typically people want to go somewhere hot when it's...
Seems silly given, like, if somebody lives in Ottawa, it's plenty cool enough there. Why would you want to go somewhere colder?
Yeah, but they're probably not talking about that. They're probably talking about people leaving like Florida or Texas or something in the summer to cool off, right?
The opposite, okay.
Yeah. Glaze.
Not the kind that you put on a cake.
Not the kind, no. To praise or flatter someone excessively or undeservedly. I've used that a few times. Another TikTok term, because why not? Oh, I like this one. Task masking. The act of giving a false impression that one is being productive in the workplace. I think that comes with the work from home thing.
Oh, I'm sure it happens even when you work at a workplace.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But I think that's probably...
It may have gotten more prevalent, but I'm sure people do very little work in an actual workplace.
Yeah, I'm sure it's prevalent always and forever. But I think a lot of bosses have used that for return to office endeavors and all that kind of stuff. Not trusting the employees working at home. So if they're in the office, they can be monitored more closely. It's never 100%, but it is indeed easier to monitor at the office. I don't know. I see a lot of people that say, I get more work done from home than I do in the office. And in my experience, I don't know. I would rather have people in the office. Maybe it's just the people I work with or whatever, but sometimes it's so hard to wrangle people for meetings or get a prompt response or just the back and forth. Like if we have to go back and forth with a graphic designer or whatever, it used to be so easy to walk down the hallway and be like, can we work on these changes? And with the remote, you got to go back and forth on it.
Well, you could have a meeting, right? You could just have a digital meeting.
True. If they're around to do it.
So see, this is the weird thing. It's like, why would you let them continue working if you're struggling so much with the behavior that you're seeing?
Well, we haven't always, but also my workplace we're not a revolving door.
Okay. So you can't really complain then.
I can, because I have no bearing on that decision. I can complain all I want.
What I mean, though, is that if somebody were to be in the workplace, do you think I guess it would be easier to get them only because they're in the vicinity. So like you can like drag them to a meeting, but are they actually going to be present in the meeting, like mentally?
I don't know, but at least I know they're there.
I don't know. For me, it's like if somebody can't be arsed to get into a meeting digitally, I wouldn't expect anything out of them physically either.
You're probably right, but also we have a lot of people that are older, and I think a lot of what's happened too with the remote work is maybe just that change and less technologically capable. So it's also probably easier to have them in the office.
Well, okay, that's a different
to get around
reason,
some of those humps. I mean, I know for you, you're going to want to be at home. And, me personally, I also would probably like to be at home. But as a manager, I find not liking the work from home age. But I can see a lot of, you get that argument from a lot of bosses. Like a lot of people have gone back to work. The Canadian governments are going back to work in office. And that's what they're using there. I can't trust my employees are doing anything. Yeah, so there we go. There's the Collins Dictionary shortlist. And that wraps us up for all of our words of the year from these various places. Let's talk about Polar Express and then call it a day.
Wow, Polar Express. Have you seen this movie before?
I have not. This is new to me.
So Polar Express 2004, I had seen this in my youth, long, long ago. This might have even been one of those rentals. Remember that little pizza place? Convenience store / pizza place / video rental convenience store back in Welland. I believe that's where we picked it up, along with such classics as Electra. And the other thing about Polar Express is if you're a fan of Back to the Future, it was directed by Robert Zemeckis, who also made Back to the Future.
There were indeed very many.
And there were indeed very many references to, especially the fact that a big chunk of the movie is set on a train. And there's a lot of moments in that refer to Back to the Future 3, which I really loved. But having seen this movie again, I see why people think of it as Uncanny Valley, the movie. Because, it certainly does have that feeling of uneasiness because of the models, the character models.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking while I was watching it. Like, I get they can't do live action because there's just too much stuff that would require CGI anyways. But I think it was a mistake doing the mocap thing that they did. They should have just went full 3D animation.
Yeah, it was a mixture. It was this weird mixture. Did you see Steven Tyler at the end?
Yes, I saw
Aerosmith?
Steven Tyler at the end. Yep. Yeah, I saw Steven Tyler at the end.
I forgot about that.
So, a quick synopsis. Boy loses the spirit of Christmas, his belief in Santa Claus, hops on a magical choo-choo train, and takes a trip to the North Pole. And lots of stuff happens, and the boy causes more trouble than he's worth. And he should have been thrown off the train in like the first 10 minutes. But they allowed him to continue causing trouble. And at the end of the day, he met Santa Claus and got the magic back. And
he could hear the, what are they called? Those
hear
bells?
the bell,
But like,
yeah.
what are they? There's a name for those specific types of bells.
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea.
Anyway, the ones that are the jingle when Santa's around. It's like a horror movie in a way. They jingle when Santa's around. Be careful.
True. It was a cute little family movie, animation notwithstanding.
It was absolutely the closest we've gotten to a Christmas movie. It was just literally steeped in Christmas.
Yeah, this was pure Christmas. This was very much a good.
And it's based on a book. So I don't know if have you read the book?
Maybe, but I don't remember.
I must have read it, I think,
young.
when I was young as well. But yeah, I don't remember how accurate this is.
Yeah, I read the plot summary of the book, and it left out a lot of the action details.
Yeah.
So.
Did they drift a train? That was one of the best moments in the movie. Did they drift a train?
I'd like to know how that worked, but then they were just like, oh, it just works. I don't think this train should be able to just keep going on ice and then also turn and all this kind of stuff that they're doing. And then he was like applying the brakes on one but not the other. I was like, is that even how a train works?
I was hearing that Tokyo Drift music, that song in my head when they were doing it. I was like, man, this is it. This is it right here. Fast and the Furious Polar Express.
Yeah, exactly. I hated the know-it-all kid.
Oh, yeah.
I think they probably should have used a real kid for that voice and just toned him down a bit. I don't know why they made him so extreme. Too much.
I hate characters like that in general. Like, they're very punchable. I want to just murder them if I can. But I don't know. Ever since I was young, I hated that. Probably the feeling that I never want to be like that. But then I'm sure some people thought of me as like that. And I hated that. Also, the main character's name, like, there was no name. He was just called, in the credits, Hero Boy. Not quite sure why, but I guess he made sure that the little kid, Billy, was able to get on the train, the poor kid. What bothered me the most was the whole golden ticket, him losing the golden ticket, the girl's golden ticket. Because why did he need to bring the ticket to her in the first place? She was with the conductor.
Real. Yeah,
why did he need to bring her the ticket? He could have just left well enough alone, sat in his seat.
That's what I say. He caused so much trouble. He could just sat his ass down and just let it go. Like,
he did the right thing with Billy. So with Billy, it was correct what he did.
Yeah.
And then the other thing was where they detached the last wagon on the train. That was a mistake. You know, he stepped on the thing that detaches, which is weird that it's so easy to detach. I don't think that's the case, but, you know, I won't question that. What did you think of Santa, though? Santa looked weird, man.
I think they wanted him to look weird, though. I think they wanted him to be more exaggerated and cartoony.
But he didn't look cartoony. He just looked weird. He looked like he was a triangle, like his shape. You know, Santa is either usually, fat and short, kind of, very pudgy, or maybe you've seen him as like a kind of a tall, hulking figure. But this guy was kind of in the middle. I don't know what they were going for. He looked weird. He would fit in as a horror character in a Santa horror spin-off.
I thought the hobo was going to be Santa Claus.
Oh, really? Okay. No, it was unrelated.
Yeah, they just had a random hobo riding on top of the train who disappears at certain times.
Maybe it's explained more in the book. Again, I don't know, but I feel like a lot of stuff that you see that's weird, it's probably just because the book is weird.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, it's a train that goes to the North Pole. It picks up specific people. It's weird that it's not picking up all children. Apparently only these select few get the chance to go see Santa in person.
And they all seem to be American, so...
Well, yeah, that's right. But they had some diversity, minimally.
There was some diversity, it's true. Yeah, overall it was a decent movie. And of course had the crossovers had the little Easter eggs of Back to the Future.
Yeah, those were great.
They mentioned the mall in it. The Lone Pine Mall, and also the flux capacitor was on the train.
Was it?
In the scene where the pin falls out of the thing to break, in the background, very briefly. There's a flux capacitor
Nice. Good eye.
hooked up on the train. Yeah. So that, I guess the scene where they stopped for the caribou, I guess that was supposed to be is supposed to mimic something in Back to the Future.
Oh, where they stopped the train just in time?
Yeah, I guess the way they did the angles and some of the dialogue, I guess, was a reference to Back to the Future. It was a good movie. Good kids. It's a good kids movie. It's a good family movie. If you want to sit your kids down in the magic of Christmas thing, show them the magic of Christmas movie. This is the movie for it.
It's the movie that tries to solidify the existence of Santa. Because even at the end, when he gets the bell to keep as a present from Santa, he can hear it at that point. He gets the magic back. He can hear it. His little sister can hear it. But then his parents pick up the bell and like, oh, sorry, sport. I guess it's broken because they can't hear it.
They don't even really question who it's from. He just says Santa. They're like, yeah, okay.
This was the
bell.
days where, stranger danger wasn't as big a deal. They were like, yeah, it's okay.
Yeah,
He's
strangers
probably
could
got
just
some
walk into people's houses and put presents down and
creepy
nobody
train
questions it.
conductors accosting him, but it's okay. Go on the train with Tom Hanks, with Tom Hanks's puppet, little boy.
I guess all that was a dream, though, right? Like, technically. Because when he woke up...
Yeah, but the little bell. Who's the bell from?
Well, yeah, where did the bell come from? But when he woke up, he grabbed his robe and he ripped the
it's Groundhog
pocket
Day.
again,
it's
like he did in the original.
Day,
yeah,
really, what this is.
Yeah.
But it's like Groundhog Half Day. So instead of every day, it's every 12 hours. So he woke up at noon and he ripped it, just like he woke up at midnight and he ripped it, and so on. That would be awful.
Yeah, it would be. But at least it's Christmas. There's worse days you could.
Oh no, I would hate to repeat Christmas. That would be the worst day, I think.
Yeah, that's the day where you have to do everything.
No, but it's just because think about it. It's the day that then loses all meaning. You wouldn't want a holiday to be your Groundhog Day.
I don't know. I could argue for it. If I'm going to have a Groundhog Day, I want it to be a much more relaxed day. With a holiday, there's always, you just have to keep repeat. You just be exhausted. You'd be on like the 5th Christmas and be like, oh, just fucking end it. Family, 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 family. Oh, 5 minutes of rest. Family, 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 family. But King of the Hill?
Oh, no, this is not like, if I'm going to watch a Robert Zemeckis movie, I would gladly watch Back to the Future over this any day. And I recommend to people, like, instead of watching this movie, watch Back to the Future. You're going to have a much more enjoyable time. But Marcel the Shell with Shoes On is absolutely still top. And again, having seen Polar Express for the second time now, I would say that as much as of a Christmas movie as this is, I still prefer the Perfect Holiday that we watched a couple podcasts ago. Just because, I don't know, it's just, yeah, maybe it's not as Christmassy, but it's just more lighthearted for me. This one is like you kind of have to really be in the Christmas spirit, I guess, to appreciate it.
True enough. Yeah, no, this isn't going to be my King of the Hill either. But it was a good movie. It was a good movie. I liked it. All right, why don't you tell us we're back to normal. So why don't you tell us what our next movie is?
Movie rankings. Show me what you got. The Eyes of Tammy Faye.
The Eyes of Tammy Faye.
2021. Okay.
Oh, this looks like an interesting movie. All right.
American biographical film, I guess, about Tammy Faye.
Screenplay by Abe Sylvia based on the 2000 documentary Tammy Faye Baker, American evangelist. Okay. All right. Could be interesting.
It's got Andrew Garfield in it. That's great. I only know him as Spider-Man, so this will be fun. Actually, no, I do. He was in Social Network as well.
All right.
That's a very different movie for us.
This is going to be very different. Yeah. Kind of middling reviews. Nothing, but did win some Academy Awards. So.
And it's a nice, healthy 2-hour movie.
Yeah. All right. Not much to say. We'll see. Biographical. Maybe it'll be humorous biographical though.
I'm hoping
I doubt
for
it.
that.
I'm thinking I'm not going to hold my breath because these evangelists are a little uptight. So I can't imagine them having allowed a humorous spin.
You don't think it's going to be a parody?
Doesn't sound like it's a parody.
Maybe we'll see what makes them tick, what makes these televangelists tick, because sometimes it's hard to, sometimes we miss, maybe there's something going on that causes them to do what they do. And then they dig the hole so deep that they can never climb out. And so they have to just keep digging all the way down to China.
You're right. That's entirely possible. But there you go. First podcast of the new year in the book. Anyways, bye guys.